Greetings and peace to you all. My name is Umi. Thank you guys for joining me for this video. So today we're going to talk about obsession as it pertains to lunar Scorpios. We're going to talk about you feeling misunderstood. We're going to talk about kind of experiencing the collective unconscious on a daily, or maybe you've been feeling it a lot heavier, the collective unconscious debris, other people's fears and energy. So first off, obsession. This particular trait is more prevalent in Scorpio, or those who are Pluto dominant. So if you're a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, you may resonate, with this particular topic. But particularly with Scorpio Moon, the obsessive trait or tendency is very well masked, and it's more of a mental and psychological fixation that develops when there are other areas of the emotional body and the consciousness that haven't been developed. So obsession can play out in many ways. It obviously can remain inside our heads, where we just fixate on an idea or person or some experience, and it's relatively harmless, at least to the outside world. It can be quite tormenting and create a lot of internal conflict when we're dealing with obsessive thoughts and we're aware of it and we're trying to combat it, but they seem to keep surfacing. We keep having these recurring imaginings and fantasies. So it could be burdensome when the mind tends to fixate on a thing or a person or an idea. This, for some people, is a good thing. You know, when you look at those who strive for excellence in sports and in their career, their obsession about success and their obsession about, rising to the top or being the champion, being the best, they put in the work and the hours and make a lot of sacrifices. And their obsession, the results of their obsession is a good thing, at least from a public perspective. They won, they've achieved, they've reached that level of excellence. But again, that word sacrifice is important here. When people obsess about that achieving in that way, they're typically sacrificing in other areas of their life. However, the outcome is not nearly as dangerous or frightening as those who obsess about a person or a thing or getting something that is not for them, is not meant for them. Here we have to know how to distinguish between our obsessions leading us down a wrong path, leading us into dangerous territory, leading us into toxic and harmful thinking. And it's not something you need to feel guilt or shame about. Like, what's wrong with me? Why am I thinking this way? You may actually indulge in these fixations from time to time. But again, obsession is not allowing us to evolve and to mature if we keep welcoming that mental state as if it's a good and natural part of our processing, emotional processing. So the thing with obsession, as I mentioned, sacrifice. If I'm thinking about a person and I want them and I'm thinking about us being together and I'm thinking about all these different fantasies, yes, we could say, oh, it's just lust. I just like to think and fantasize. But when does it become obsession? When is it a consistent and ongoing thing? When do you constantly choose things to obsess over just to preoccupy your mind, just to keep your mind in this sort of dizzying state of fixation? So if becoming aware of it is the important thing here, recognizing the dangers related to obsession, knowing that you're not alone. It's a trait within you that when it's focused or directed in the right way or towards something that you're passionate about, like a cause, like career, like something that you need obsession in order to get at it. Like you need to put in the hours and the commitment, and you need to be devoted and invested. That requires some measure of obsession, because we tend to get distracted. People get bored. People, drop off of projects and pursuits and interests. But it's obsession that won't allow that. Obsession won't allow you to just give up on a thing or give up on a person. But again, depending on this level of obsession, how it's manifesting in your brain, is it obsession related to violence? I want to get back at this person. You're fixated on how you're going to get revenge. You're mapping it out, premeditated, destined kind of imagery in your head. And that is very dangerous. Doing the spiritual work, balancing yourself every single day requires effort. Many people that I do sessions with have the, insight and the knowledge, and they're aware of a lot. But when it comes to making it practical, like, are you applying the knowledge or you just know the knowledge? If you don't apply it and live by it, it does become increasingly difficult to ward off, these human tendencies, because we don't access the knowledge when we need it. We only maybe use it to get in debates, or we just pull from it when it's convenient. But it's important to if you make it a daily practice, you won't have to put so much effort into recalling what you're working on, what you're working toward. It just becomes a daily thing and you become aware of it. So emotions and the mental state and our psychological well-being needs to be a constant assessment. For me, I know I can obsess in a very dangerous way. It could become dangerous to me or to others when my obsession is left unchecked. That's just me being honest. And I've noticed that in the past, especially in my early 20s, that when I obsessed about something, I would fixate on it so heavily that it would interfere with my day-to-day routine. And so I recognized that my fixations weren't for my highest good. And I redirected that. With Capricorn rising, I was able to take the obsessive trait known with the Scorpio energy of my lunar Scorpio and apply that more to my career. So that, I don't mind staying up all night. I don't mind doing this or doing that because I'm obsessed about results, or I'm fixated on achieving and my reputation, or this or this. So it's redirecting that energy towards something more productive, something in which I don't mind making certain sacrifices for. Now, when it comes to feeling misunderstood, this is a big issue with lunar Scorpios because humans altogether struggle with understanding their emotions, period. Most people don't understand their own emotions. They know they get angry, they know they feel grief, they get pissed off, so they can identify an emotion. But reading into it, really exploring it and understanding that emotion is a whole nother thing. This is someone would have to spend a lot of time in internal, like you're active internally. You think a lot, you process a lot, you read into yourself and emotions a lot. Scorpio moons, you do this naturally. So you already seek to understand your own emotions. The struggle for you may come in expressing your emotions, articulating it, explaining why you feel the way you feel. Because for some of you, especially if you have your Scorpio moon in earlier degrees, you're here to learn lessons of maturity when it comes to your emotions. And so you're still trying to get the hang of things and you don't understand yourself enough to explain yourself to other people. You kind of want your family and friends and lover to get you. Like, I want my man to understand me, why I'm so emotionally complex, and emotionally, my depth of emotions is the way it is. It's like you want people who supposedly love you and care about you to get it automatically, and they don't, because emotions are complex. Emotions deal with levels and layers to us that if people weren't around from the beginning, if they're not in the cosmos looking down your life, they just won't understand where some of the things come from that bubble up in you. So for Scorpio moon, the moon is connected to our psychology, it's connected to our unconscious and our obsessions and fixations, but it's also connected to how it is that our emotions spill out into the world, because it's water, meaning it doesn't take a lot for it to kind of spill out. So when our emotions spill out and other people are not prepared for it, then we're left being called names sometimes. You're crazy. What's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? And I don't understand. And you're too complex. You're too dramatic. You're too this, you're too that. Your emotions are too complex. They're too dramatic. You're doing too much. It's too extreme. So all these things that we're told from people we love or care about, or even coworkers, can result in us suppressing our emotions because you don't want them to spill out. People don't understand you. They don't understand your emotions. And what makes Scorpio, lunar Scorpio, the misunderstood element to this is that, as I mentioned, it's emotional depth and complexity. It's not, oh, you cheated on me and I hate you. And it's just like an obvious emotion that we can all identify. This could come from extracting situations from past lives, from early in your childhood, from your daddy issues, because the water element deals with memory. What is memory? I don't forget. I didn't forget this experience. It's kind of embedded in my soul. So from time to time, triggers will surface these very heavy, sometimes toxic emotions. And so it's important, if other people don't understand you, that you take the initiative to begin to do the inner work and understanding yourself. Self-love and self-care help you to remedy the negative emotions associated with not being understood. You have options. You have people you can reach out to who will or can understand you, who take the time to listen to you, take the time to explore your emotional depth. you have to do that for yourself as well and start cultivating self-love, so that when you have these moments or these outbursts, or you're feeling utterly detached and cut off from people because they don't get you, you can give yourself that honor and honor your emotions. You can give yourself that love, that it's okay. I know I'll be going through some shit and I'll be snapping off and I don't be knowing what's going on with me and blah, blah, blah. But I love myself. I love the fact that I'm taking the time to understand what these emotions are about and where they're coming from. I love the fact that I am as expressive with my emotions or dramatic with my emotions, but this is who I am and this is how it shows up. I'm not going to suppress it anymore, but I'm going to take the time to understand it. I'm going to take the time to understand myself and love myself, because my emotions are valid. They're coming from somewhere. If you care about them enough, you'll be willing to put in the work or effort in getting to know them, encourage them to get to understand themselves better. Encourage your partner, if they are lunar Scorpio, say, babe, I don't be getting why you behave the way you do, or you say the stuff you say, or you act the way you do, but I'm here with you. We can do this together. We can start figuring out why you're feeling this way together. That can show your sensitivity to the fact that lunar Scorpio is still understanding themselves, and that you don't know. You admit, I don't understand, but don't call that person crazy or call that person or condemn yourself in any way because of what others have said. Everyone doesn't express their emotions the same way. Some are going to be raw. Some are going to penetrate. Some emotions are going to get to the truth of a matter, and that's going to come through lunar Scorpio. Others may cry or get out surface level emotions, and it satisfies them for the time, and they can move on to other mundane things. For lunar Scorpio, it will not, it'll persist. The need for release, the need for the truth, the need for stimulation on an emotional level will persist until that sense of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, has been met. And this could take some time, especially if we're surrounded around the wrong people, especially if our own inner thoughts and inner dialogue is of self-hate, condemnation, self-criticism, negativity, victim mentality. It can be difficult to ever experience those fulfilling emotions and knowing that you are understood. So for many of you, I'm encouraging that when you feel misunderstood, it's best to surround yourself or talk to that person that serves as a good listener for you. If you don't have someone who is a good listener that you trust with your emotions in that way, your relationship with God and the way you communicate with yourself is vital during this time on the planet where you feel like you don't have other people necessarily. You have to turn that love and direct that love inward. That love is going to come from you. So whatever it is that you're looking for outside of you in terms of understanding, in terms of nurture, in terms of someone to support you on your spiritual path, if you accept that may or may not show up, let me go ahead and start doing what I need to do for me, doing what you guys are doing now. Many of you are exploring yourself through the astrology, you're exploring yourself through talking with people or counseling or whatever, meditation, and you're starting to remove some of these layers, and it's helping you to process your emotions in a healthy way. It's helping you guys to let go of some codependence. And the part about being misunderstood is more so it's an issue of the other person. It's no longer like your problem, and this again comes with some experience, but as you live life a little better, you start to realize I can't control how other people see me. I can't control other people's unwillingness to listen and understand my emotions a little bit better, at least the people that I care about. Obviously at work, it's not your employer's responsibility to understand your emotional complexity, but the people who are around you and who care about you the most, that you value their support, you value the fact that they understand you. When you start to give yourself that attention and understand your emotions better, you articulate them better, express them with a lot more self-control. So this is a work, meaning you can't just assume, okay, I got it. This is the formula. It's going to work for me every time. Emotions for Scorpio Moon are very raw. So when those raw emotions come out, trying to explain them after the fact can be a little challenging, which is why it's necessary for you to constantly be doing the inner work and understanding what's happening, the alchemy at any given point. So if my mood suddenly shifts from being pleasant and calm to I'm a bit irritable or bitchy or distant, I need to know why I'm feeling that way. I don't need to be somewhere like, oh, I don't know, I'm just so confused. And because yes, that is frustrating when your partner or family wants to support you. If I don't know why I'm feeling the way I feel, it may be best to Give yourself some space in isolation. Just give yourself some space to process if that is healthy for you. If being alone results in self-harm and all that other stuff, don't be alone. But for those of you who recognize, I'm in a shitty mood right now and I don't know why, let me step away from others before they trigger me further, or they say something to piss me off, or what's wrong with you? You're always... Let me step away, deal with these emotions, figure out myself, understand myself. Maybe your menstrual's coming up. Maybe your girlfriend is embarrassing you. Maybe this or that. And so you can read into the feelings and be able to explain why you're feeling the way you're feeling. And then that helps you to know that I understand myself, at least, even if other people don't. I know why I feel this way. So I'm cool with moving forward. I'm cool with being in this mood right now because I know why I feel like this. And it's not a puzzle. It's not going to force other people to try to figure you out. So lastly, I wanted to talk about the collective unconscious. Now, this is important for many of you because you're going to be filtering a lot more issues and trauma and pain and grief and confusion, even as it's filtering through the collective unconscious. So you have your unconscious and subconscious mind, things that you've experienced past lives, your early childhood. You have things that filter in the back of your mind that create phobias and fears and complexes. So that's one thing we all have to deal with on an individual level. But when it comes to those of you who feel empathic or very sensitive, energetically sensitive, lunar Scorpios, those with a heavy 12th house emphasis, you may find that psychically you are very sensitive and vulnerable to the collective, how other people feel. 11th house, lunar, I have my Scorpio Moon in the 11th house of, community and the outer public. So I'm oftentimes aware of what other people are going through. I'm blessed with experiences by the universe. In order to gain experience, I often have experiences that teach me and then allow me to share that information with others. So with that fact that I have my Scorpio Moon in the 11th house, I know that many of you lunar Scorpios are subject to collective traumas that can make you feel like it's you, make you feel like you're going crazy, make you feel disturbed, make you feel emotionally like plagued in a way. For those of you who are feeling and sensing the collective issues that are going on, this again is where the knowledge is beneficial to you in helping you navigate these emotions and these energies, helping you to know what's yours and what's not. This irritability and anger and trauma I'm feeling right now, this isn't really mine. This is coming from the media, what people are watching. Your neighbors are watching, the community that surrounds you. If people are all watching and engaged and following the same content or media material, it can create a reaction out of the public. We all saw this with the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, the mass amount of people who responded with outcry and grief and trauma. It could have stirred up some emotions in you that you yourself can't quite identify because it is so collective. It's so, what's the word, primordial. These emotions are coming from years and years and years of trauma that has been sort of sitting in the collective unconscious. And so for this particular country with America and its Pluto return, people are sensing and seeing a huge change, but more so it's bringing up some very unpleasant and disturbing facts and truths about this nation, about its past, about current inequalities and current issues that are going on. So be mindful of the propensity for you to get sucked into and saturated with the emotions of others. That's coming through the collective unconscious. All of that debris is kind of filtering through you, and you need to allow that to happen where you're not engaged in it. You're not wanting to pull yourself in the situation and pull out of that situation stuff that's not even yours, pain and hurt that's not even yours. The best way to release these energies is out in nature. The best way to release these energies is making love, burning candles, listening to good quality music, good pure air in your home, doing activities and exercises and eating living foods and doing the work, doing the very things that spiritual teachers and healers and gurus have been talking about for so long. It's not just, hey, wear this costume because you're spiritual. No, this is absolutely about doing what you're supposed to do to safeguard yourself. It's your protective armor during this time when your energy is aligned, when you're doing the practices. When I don't do the practices I'm supposed to be doing, I absolutely hear about it. Like, I feel so many things go wrong. I start to really struggle with a lot internally. My environment starts to suffer. And I realize, you know what, I haven't been eating properly. I haven't had any living foods this week, or I haven't, really been doing any type of meditative work. I've just been worried and working and thinking and chasing things. And so I will observe that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is why I'm feeling this way. This is why I'm feeling angry or violent, or this is why I'm feeling whatever the emotion is. And then once you start to implement that practice, you'll see a change. You'll see or feel a change within yourself. Some of that pressure alleviate off of you to make life right, to fix every problem, to be a good human. We have these feelings like we're supposed to be this perfect, emotionally stable and good person. And that doesn't always manifest. Just in being human, we don't always manifest as good people. Sometimes we're rowdy and difficult and complex people, and we stir up drama. And with that being said, the collective unconscious and your unconscious, you're here to learn a lesson related to these energies. You're here to learn a lesson related to humanity's role in its own trauma and its own pain and its own grief and loss and all of these emotions that come from our depths. You're here to learn lessons related to that and to see how people deal with it. You're a witness to it. So it's not that you're going to run out and rescue anybody because you're feeling how they're feeling, but this is very much about you becoming aware of human emotions on a level that ties us all together. And then you can have an influence. Again, in the case with my moon in the 11th house of the public and community, I can choose to have an influence with the insight I have with the collective unconscious. The things I've learned about how people process and how people behave and react and respond to their environment and to life situations equips me with insight and knowledge and even wisdom in many cases to help others steer clear of things that aren't of mutual benefit. They don't benefit themselves, don't benefit their families or their community. So this is again a work. It's a beautiful work. It's one that is very rewarding if we can remain cognizant of our purpose, if we can remain cognizant of what's going on at any given time. So we may slip up and slip into these heavy emotions, but when we become aware of it, oh, I know what this is. I know what's going on. It's, so that's a big relief. And that's a way of us taking back our power and to take back control of our thoughts and mental faculties. So if you've been feeling psychic attacks, if you've been feeling heavy and burdensome thoughts, disturbing thoughts, if you've been feeling fear and you've been feeling a lot of heavy emotions, start doing those rituals and practices for you that bring you a sense of calm, groundedness, peace. Talk to people who support you, love you, encourage you, make you laugh, spend time with the people you care about. Celebrate life every day. Wake up and find a way to just enjoy life, celebrate life. And doing simple things. You don't have to go skydiving, but just doing the simple things that bring you joy in life serve as a remedy to some of the more difficult and challenging encounters we will have in our lifetime. So I wanted to share that with you all, Lunar Scorpios. I hope that you found this information useful. I'm absolutely available if you need someone to talk to express some heavy emotions with, or if you're just trying to explore your natal chart, understand yourself a little bit better. I would love to share a space with you guys for that. So information to book a session is in the description. So yeah, let me know how everybody's been doing. I know more videos. I got it. I hear you guys. I have 2 businesses, 3 children, crazy relationships, just a lot going on in life. So I thank you guys for allowing me to share a space with you because it's keeping me sane during these times. So get in touch with your purpose because that may be the one thing that's going to keep us all, keep us all together. So yeah, much love, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. And until next time, peace.